This is a review of the Zolo 12000mAh external battery. It's a magnetic case on the battery with a swipe to activate system. As I mentioned, the power capacity is 12,000 milliampere-hours, and in our testing, the test results were very good. One of the things that you may think looks a little funny on this is there's a cable wrapped around this, and believe it or not, it's stuck to the case by magnetic principle. In addition, there's these two extra little buttons here. Those buttons here let you take any standard cable, like an Apple Lightning connector, and put a button on each end of it, and you can wrap it around the case and also stick this cable to the battery pack. That way you always make sure when you grab the battery, you got the cables to go with you. Here you can see I popped the cover off of one of those little buttons. You lay your cable in there and pop back on the top and put the other one on the other end of the cable so you can tie it to the battery. Here you can see I put the buttons on the Apple cable. These cable here that came with the anchor already has magnets in it. I've added them to this cable, and now it's wrapped around and stuck to both sides of the battery. Just as a comment, the battery itself also has a magnet inside of it. If I turn this battery over, you'll see the back side. This back side has a magnet in it, and you can see it's sticking this nail clipper to it pretty tightly. So it's a very strong magnet. This is a Zolo case. It also has a magnet in it. And if I place the two of these together, they virtually lock together. So you can use them as a set, and they'll firmly hold together in one piece like so. You should just be aware that with this type of battery in this case, because they are magnetic, anything that's in your purse or your backpack that has iron in it is going to get stuck to these things, and it's just going to get stuck and stay there, like your keys, for example. The other thing is if you have anything in your backpack or purse with magnetic media, say a cassette tape or something, it could erase it. A nice feature of this battery pack is the swipe to see feature. If you swipe this, you can see that it comes on and shows the LEDs and tells you the battery indication of the power. All 5 of them means it's fully charged. For a rough estimate, each one of these LEDs would represent 20% of the charge. On the end here you can see 3 connectors. This is a micro USB connector. This is actually the charging cable for the battery. That's the one that was wrapped around it. It likes to be charged at 5 volts DC and at 2 amps. Next to that are 2 USB ports. Their output is 5 volts DC, and the combined output of both these ports at the same time is 3 amps. So basically 1.5 amps each. I want to point out that the exterior of this battery is covered with a rubberized coating, which makes it easy to grip and hold on to. It's also not a fingerprint magnet because the rubber surface doesn't show any fingerprints. I'm now going to show this device charging a couple of items. This is an original Apple cable, and I'm going to plug it into an Apple iPhone 5S, and we'll see how it works. Now you can see I'm going to swipe, turns on the battery. The phone beeps and starts charging, and it's charging at 0.99 amps, and it's charging at 5.19 volts. I'm now going to plug this into an Apple iPad Air 2. You heard the iPad chirp. It's charging at 5.17 volts, and you'll see that it's charging at 0.93 amps. That's probably my only disappointment with this product, in that this device likes to charge around 2.1 to 2.4 amps, and yet this battery is not putting out even as much for the iPad as it did for the iPhone. We did do extensive testing on this battery pack. As you can see here, it's still charging the tablet up here. In our testing, we tested 2 iPhone 5S's simultaneously and charged them. We charged a Galaxy Samsung Tab 4. It worked fine there. And then we charged an iPad Air and an iPad Air 2 simultaneously until the battery was completely dead. In all those tests combined, we were able to get 8,729 milliampere-hours out of the battery, which is rated at 12,000 milliampere-hours. That represents a efficiency of 72.7%, which is pretty good. That means this battery will fully charge your iPhone 5S 5.6 times. It will charge an iPad Air 99% of a full charge, and an iPad Air 2 119%. That's a pretty efficient battery. I'll give more extensive details on charging requirements in my written review. This is a good battery pack. It tested out above average. It fully charged a lot of devices and brought them up to speed. The magnetic part of it with the cables attaching to it and all that, to me is just sort of okay. I'm more worried about putting magnets into a briefcase or a purse and perhaps damaging the case because something's sticking to the tablet or to the battery. But overall, everything worked out fine. I'm going to rate the battery at 4 stars. The reason for that is I wish that it had been able to output closer to the 2 amps required to charge an iPad Air. With it charging one port, that should have been completely possible because these 2 ports combined can output up to 3 amps. This review was done by JJ CEO. I'd like to tell you that I received a sample for test and evaluation, and I didn't promise a review, but I promised it would be fair and honest.